meetings for laughing.
All right, did you see how I spread out the blanket? I would suggest that. We're gonna be on our abdomen at some point, and sometimes the pubic bone can be heavy on the wood floor, so.
Is it going this way or this way for us? Or does it matter?
I'm doing mine this way, so it's kind of going off the mat, like wide, widthwise. Yeah. All right. Thank you for coming to this gentle restorative practice. We're gonna do a blend of both today. We're gonna do a little, well, we're actually gonna start off in a couple yin postures, and then we're gonna do some movement, and then we're gonna end in restorative. So we're getting kind of a eclectic blend today. And this is the reason why we are talking about the vagus nerve today. The vagus nerve starts the brainstem, travels through the upper body, lands around the stomach and intestinal area, but it also has an effect on the lungs and the heart. It also is responsive with whatever is going on with the throat and facial muscles. So this vagus nerve is something that I've talked about in the past. I remember years ago reading an article where it was shown that if we use an, I know we don't have eye pillows or eye bags in the studio, but you may have one at home. We're going to be using a towel instead, but it's been scientifically shown that when there's that eye bag placed over the brow, that it really helps to calm the vagus nerve, and it can bring a relaxation response to the mind and the body. So there has been heightened fear and anxiety, right, in the last couple years. And, you know, you may have felt waves of it. And there are some people that have developed what's called chronic stress. And chronic stress and any type of trauma that hasn't been dealt with or worked with, you know, could create some PTSD. And I personally feel like all of us, no one's excluded, trauma from the pandemic. It truly is a collective trauma. So if you've never thought of yourself as a trauma victim, you are now, because you're living through this pandemic. This is something that has hit not just our families, not just our close circle, but our community, our nation, the globe. And all of us have different tools in how we've been able to manage ourselves through the stress. Luckily, we have yoga, mindfulness, and meditation to be able to turn to, and a lot of that emphasis involves the breath. So we use a little bit of our teacher training time to focus on trauma-sensitive yoga. We take about a day and a half out of our whole training to focus on trauma-sensitive yoga, because there's lots of people who come to yoga that may get triggered by certain things, you know, like if you were military, for example, you might be hyper aware of the fact that there's only this exit. You know, if you're feeling a little claustrophobic and you're in a room without windows or a door to let you outside, you might start to feel that. So anyway, we put all these different tools into practice with trauma-sensitive yoga. But with the vagus nerve should be able to create what's called a vagal tone. At least that's what they call it in the medical community. And Christina, I know you have a medical background, so you're welcome to speak up at any time if I get it wrong.
But I've done the research.
Okay.
You're 100% right. You want it, your goal is always activate the parasympathetic nervous system.
Yes.
That's a really healthy, great state to be in.
And this medical article I was reading actually says we should be able to, we're not going to be immune to stress. We all have stress. The point is, we don't want to stay in the sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is the stressed out state. It's what sends the cortisol through the body. Well, you actually do need a certain amount of stress in your body. And so we do need the sympathetic nervous system to kick in at times. However, if it's on overdrive, and in modern times and in modern society, especially with this pandemic, it is on overdrive. So the goal of yoga and meditation and mindfulness is to shift gears and to move into the parasympathetic nervous system. That is where we're calm. That is where we can get relaxed. That is where we can respond instead of react. And that's where we can be in control of our emotions so that the emotions aren't controlling us. So that is our lesson for today. For a healthy vagal tone, we should be able to fluctuate between the two. So we're not hyper in the sympathetic nervous system or hyper stressed out. If we stay in that chronic stress, or if we stay in that trauma, then it's going to develop into complete exhaustion that takes us into fatigue. And we may go into a deep dive of depression. Nobody wants to go there. So that's what we're going to focus on the vagus nerve today. There's quite a few things that can help to activate the parasympathetic nervous system and help us to calm that vagus nerve. And a few of these things are conscious breathing. Hopefully you're doing that the whole time you're in your yoga practice, sitting on your mat. But how can you take it off your mat into your daily life? That's the key component. When we're teaching trauma-sensitive yoga, we talk about there can be triggers that make us react or make us respond back to whatever that trauma is. When we get triggered, we have a disconnect between the mind and the body. And the greatest thing that can reconnect the mind and the body is the conscious breath work. That's really important. So we're going to do different types of breathing today. There are different meditations that are really good for this. Yoga Nidra is good for this. I have these on Moonbeam Meditations, already pre-recorded. I have some on the Moonbeam Yoga YouTube channel, already pre-recorded. If you want to hear my voice, but you can get online and Google Yoga Nidra, and you're going to find tons of examples and plenty of people online to be able to follow this. You can do a Mentive Meditation, which is bringing loving kindness to yourself, sending loving kindness to others. You can do a smiling meditation. It's been shown scientifically when we can soften the face and bring a smile to, even if we're fake smiling, it can create the good hormones to be sent out in the body that makes us feel better. You weren't in here when Mandy was leaving, but Mandy was leaving. She was talking about doing a smiling meditation with a Buddhist group that she was with. And you're talking about bringing that inner smile into outer expression. And she said by the end of the meditation, everybody was going into a laughing meditation. So it really erupted from the inside and came out. We're going to do a little bit of tapping as well. Tapping is something that they have discovered can help to release trauma and help to induce that parasympathetic nervous system as well. So we're going to put all this into practice, and we're going to start off, since we have this blanket spread out, we're going to start off in a couple yin poses. The first one we're going to do is have the legs splayed about as wide as the sticky mat. And just kind of shimmy the hips and rock them from side to side just to loosen up the low back. Keep your chest propped up. Cross your arms and place your forehead on top. Leave plenty of space beneath the face to be able to openly breathe. That little tunnel or canal underneath the arms will bring you some fresh air. So just as the article was sharing the scientific studies that a weight of an eye bag on the forehead can help to calm the vagus nerve, activate the parasympathetic nervous system. There's also a marma or acupressure point here at the third eye that can help to increase and induce some mental peace. So the first thing I want you to do here is notice your breathing. You may or may not be able to sense your heartbeat or heart rate. But in this medical article that I was reading regarding the vagus nerve, it said that if we have a healthy vagal tone, then the heart rate should slightly increase on the inhalations and slightly decrease on the exhalations. So see if you can pay attention to that as you're breathing in and out through the nose. And if you can't tap into your own pulse here, your own heartbeat, then I would encourage you to take a breath in and to breathe out to a longer count. That longer, slower exhalation can shift us into the parasympathetic nervous system, where we're calmer, cooler, more collected, and more peaceful. Use this for your centering today. Placing all your mindfulness onto your breath and heart. We used to have a person in the studio back when I first took over Half Moon that offered heart rhythm meditation. And in that meditation, you could clearly see and monitor the heart rate. Take one more breath. Now lift your head just enough to separate your arms into like a cactus formation. You're going to turn to rest on your left cheek, and you're going to slide or crawl the right knee up in line with your hip. Separate that foot so that it's angled just below the knee. You're flipping to the inside of the foot, the big toe side. And you're just going to lay here for a moment. This may be a better position for you to focus on your heart rate. You may even sense some vibration coming from the floor. Notice how this pose helps us to get more grounded. And check in with your facial muscles. Can you relax and soften the furrow of the brow? Can you soften and relax the space between the eyes? Can you relax and soften your jaw, the interior and exterior of your mouth? This is a gentle opening for the heart and lung meridians, as well as the kidney, liver, and spleen meridians, according to Chinese medicine. On your next in-breath, go ahead and slide your right leg back. Exhale, turn your face to the other cheek. And then bring the left knee up. Flip that foot to the inside. And settle back in. Feel as though you're bringing love, compassion, and gratitude and sending it down to the earth for all of her beauty and bounty. Appreciate the thread of breath that connects all of us together. The breath of life that interweaves your mind, your body, and spirit into one. Bring yourself into a state of surrender. Maintaining your awareness in your body. Perhaps noticing how this hip is responding in comparison to the first one. Perhaps noticing if you have more flexibility on one side of the neck versus the other. In this medical article I was reading, it said we often think about the importance of flexibility in the body. And we know that it's also important to have that flexibility in mind, but we don't often consider that we need flexibility in the nervous system. On your next inhale, go ahead and straighten out your left leg. Lower your face so you're looking downward. Bring your hands closer in. Lift yourself up just enough to crisscross your arms. And then have your right arm actually out in front. And then you're going to lift the elbows, slide the arms through. And then you're just going to let your chin take breath. If your feet are too close together, it may be pulling on the low back. So you may want to fan the feet a little wider if that's the case. Again, that's your body awareness. How is it affecting you and your back? And then making the adjustments needed. Now, in Chinese medicine, they say that the yang meridians travel on the outseam of the limbs. And so with the arms here that we're getting a work in now, stretch, this is the large intestine, small intestine meridians, as well as what's called the triple heater. Yeah. We're not going to hold it as long as we would in true yin because this is a gentle class. But I want you to be here long enough to gain benefit. Notice how the belly is pressing down to the floor. See if you can practice diaphragmatic breathing, where you're breathing down into your stomach region. Feeling it expand on your inhalation and feeling it softly deflate on your exhalation. The stomach is just to the left and hidden back behind the diaphragm muscle. So as we tone the diaphragm muscle through this type of breath work, we're also giving a little meaning and a massage to the stomach, where this vagus nerve travels. On your next inhalation, lift the head up, slide your arms in, and we'll crisscross the other way. So now the left arm's out ahead, and then you'll slide them through, out ahead. Relax your low back. Feel the weight on the underside of the belly. And then breathe down into that area. Couple more deep breaths. Gently lift the head up, slide the arms back in, take the hands up underneath the shoulders, push up and back, just enough to move the blanket off to the side. Go ahead and fold it in half, because we can use that again later when we come back to restorative. Now we're going to bring in some active postures before we take rest. We're going to start in tabletop position. So in tabletop position, you want your knees below your hips, the thighs perpendicular to the floor, your feet are apart, your shins are anchoring, your wrists are below the head of the shoulder bones, your fingers are spread out, and you're pressing through the points of the body that touch down. Your belly is hugging in towards your back body. Your muscles are engaged in your upper back and the upper part of your chest. So just notice there's this strength here coming into play. And when we start to move into cat-cow, there'll be a blend of strength and flexibility. So as you inhale, contain the low back, lift your tailbone, lift the crown of your head. And as you exhale, tuck the tailbone and round the back, tucking the chin of the chest. And then continue this as you breathe. Inhalation, creating the saddle of the back, cow tilt. And exhale, maneuvering into your cat stretch. Bringing in a little bit more awareness, starting from the base of the spine, moving upward into the neck. And that's how you can add in mindfulness to this plan. Let the breath lead the dance back and forth. And feel free to utilize Ujjayi pranayama, that audible sounding breath where you constrict the backside of your throat and make it audible to hear. Inhale, return to tabletop, tuck the toes, walk your hands slightly beyond your shoulders, and then lift the knees off the floor to perform downward facing dog. Now in downward facing dog, your hands are shoulder distance apart. They're slightly dialing away from each other, as if you were tightening the jar with your right hand and loosening the jar with your left. Notice how that rolls the arms away from your ears. Notice how that brings more structure to the arms. Lengthen through your side body, open more space between each vertebra, fly the hips higher. I posted a meme the other day of someone in this pose, and the caption was, how to make a yogi mad. And there's a person in the background going, oh, yoga's just stretching. And the person holding downward facing dog is looking like, what did you say? Because you can tell this is not just stretch. This is a blend of strength and stretch. So just like we need to be able to fluctuate and have flexibility in the nervous system, sympathetic to parasympathetic, we need the blend of both here, strength and flexibility, power and grace, effort and ease. Now walk and travel the feet forward towards the top of the mat. Once you arrive, you can determine, do I want to begin or not in your approach? Maybe the feet are just softly touching, maybe they're really rooting down. If they're really rooting down, your legs will naturally straighten. If you're more relaxed in your feet, the knees will be soft. Do what's best for you. On your next in-breath, slide your hands up your shins, lengthen out through the vertebrae, and then as you exhale, gently lower back down and in. Once you lower down and in, relax through the backside of your neck, and think of your sternum having a magnet that's being drawn down to another magnet down towards your knees or shins. So try to magnetize it down, 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 creating more length, firing up your hamstrings more. Then are you still focused on maintaining control over the breath? Try to let that reign even over the postures. On your next inhale, root down through the legs and feet, reach the arms to the sides and up overhead. Power down through the feet, lift up through your kneecaps, define your quads, lengthen up through your side traps, fingertips on the rise, and exhale, bring hands home to the heart. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take our blocks and we're gonna, you guys can turn this way if you want. That way your back's not to me. And then you guys can turn this way so that your back's not to me. But you're gonna separate your feet so that when you lift your arms up, the ankles are relatively underneath the wrist. Good. And once you do that, bring the blocks down because you might need them later. Once you condition your feet, notice if you're rolling to the outer edges or primarily rolling to the inner edges, and try to create equanimity. Float the arms back up. We're going to do different variations of Warrior Two. Take the foot that's closest to me and turn it out towards the front of your mat. So I'm just going to try to avoid saying left or right here since you're going to be opposite. And lunge the knee. So we're basically going into Warrior Two. But notice if you lean with your waist. We're trying to, just as we created equanimity with the weight distribution in the feet, we're trying to create equanimity in the side body. So they're equal in head over heart, heart over pelvis. On your inhalation, you're going to straighten the front leg and the arms are going to lift up to frame the face. Good, and as you exhale, you're going to relunge the knee and turn back my direction. Good, so inhale, coming up. Exhale, returning to Warrior Two. Good, again, inhaling up. Exhale to Warrior Two. Inhale up. Good, turn that foot back in. Bring the hands together, down through the heart center, and stack your hands onto your blocks. When you bring the block, stack the hands under the shoulders. Push back through your thigh bones, through your tailbone. Keep your trunk more parallel to the floor. Lengthen out through the sides of the neck, crown of the head facing in front, so that you're kind of looking down in between the blocks, finding one spot to gaze at. Good, now bring your hands now to the hips, draw the navel in slightly, so that you're using the strength of the legs and your core to rise. Less apt to strain the back. Good, now rotate your other foot towards the back of your mat. Lunge the knee, float the arms up, warrior two. Our emphasis is going to be on warrior two today, but we're going to be doing different expressions. Good, inhale, straighten that leg, lift the arms up just like we did before, beautiful. Exhale, turn to face that back hand. Good, when you're ready, inhaling up, back hand being the back side of your mat. Good, inhaling up. Exhale, return to Virabhadrasana 2. Let's do one more. Good, inhale, lift the arms. Turn that back foot to face forward again. Hands to prayer position, hinge over. Take the hands back to the blocks. This time, set the blocks down on a lower position, a lower height. And maybe bend the arms and come down into a forward fold. Notice if all the weight is landing in your heels. If that's the case, shift your body forward. So remember, just being aware of body awareness is a state of mindfulness. Being in a forward fold, you can activate and elongate your exhalations. And that is why when we're in a forward fold, or one of the reasons why we're in a forward fold, we can shift to the parasympathetic nervous system. We're getting the benefits of being upside down. We're helping circulation come back to the heart. It can be calming for the mind. On your next in-breath, re-straighten and structure the arms. Draw the navel in, dig your feet into the floor, hands to the hips, and slowly come back up. Good, rotate that foot closest to me, back to the front of your mat. Lift the arms up shoulder height and re-lunge that knee. All right, when you're looking at the knee, make sure you're externally rotating the side, that the knee is facing towards the second and third toes, and your back thigh is plugging in. Again, equanimity in the side body, at least for this position. And then you're going to flip the front hand open, and then you're going to angle it up into a side or reverse warrior. This is going to be our inhale, and the exhale, we're coming back to warrior two. So keep the firm foundation in your feet. Keep your legs and the hips the same, nice and stable, and let the movement come from the waist up. Then we're going to do one more of those flows. Then bring your hands to prayer, straighten out that leg, turn that foot in. Let's go ahead and go to the other side. Rotate your back foot now. Send your arms out shoulder height, lunge that knee, Virabhadrasana 2. Flip that hand open that you're gazing towards. Inhale, reverse that warrior. Exhale, return. Good, continue that flow. We're building strength in the lower body, and we're adding in some flexibility in the upper body. Synchronize the two together so it's not mechanical movement. Conscious movement with conscious breathing. That's the key. Last one. Good. Hands to prayer. Straighten out that leg. Turn that foot in and slowly hinge down again. So make sure you have length in your spine. If the blocks are too low, remember they can turn up. We're going to twist this time, reaching that right arm side. Rotating through the belly and back. Notice if it prohibits your breath. If it does, you're doing too much physically, or you've lost sight of your breath. Exhale, return the right hand down. And then inhale, take the left arm out and up. Exhale, lower. And bring the head down. Your hands can even walk away from the block so that the crown of the head can actually face the floor more if that's available to you. Don't worry if it's not. Affirming as you hold. And now relax and cast aside all mental barriers. Now relax and cast aside all mental barriers. Part of the benefits of yoga is to create a more expanded. In that expanded mindset, we can be more flexible, more open, more tolerant, more compassionate. Inhale it slowly, turn the hands to the blocks, lift the head up so that you're evening out that blood flow. Bring your hands to your hips, draw the navel in, come on up. All right, we're gonna do one more, okay? Turn the front foot, face the front of the mat, lift the arms out, shoulder height, lunge that knee. Good, now turn your chin so it's in line with your chest, bring your hands to your heart. Now we're just gonna focus on arms and shoulders. Inhale, open the arms nice and wide, elbows as high as the shoulders. That's it. Exhale, return hands to heart center so the elbows lower. Good. Inhale, open up, cactus or goddess arms. Exhale, hands to hearts. One more. Good. When you bring your hands back to prayer position, straighten the left leg, turn that foot in, rotate the right foot out. We're almost done with this sequence. Lunge that knee. Good, when you're ready, inhale, expand the arms, open the gate of your heart, and exhale, hands come back together. Continue. Think about where that vagus nerve travels, certain physical postures are going to help. Last one. Couldn't leave the legs out though. Good, now straighten that right or back leg, turn that foot in. Now turn the foot that was facing the front earlier and step it up. Woo. Swap the legs too. And step. Inhale, let your arms reach out and up. Exhale, bring it on down into your Uttanasana. You're standing forward fold. Inhale, step back into plank. Shoulders aligning over the wrists. Exhale, push back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Do two more of those. Inhale, return to plank, the head is up. And exhale, downward facing dog, the head is down. One more. Plank on the inhale, and down dog on the exhale. And then return to your knees. We're gonna do actually two more active poses, then restore. Okay, got good. We got a little strength in there. So bring your arms out and curl your fingertips in. Okay, so on the inhale, the chest comes forward and the head leans back a little. On the exhale, the arms come together and you pull the navel in. It's almost like a seated cat-cow in a way. Inhale, open the heart. Throat and exhale, close back in. 3 more. Last one. Don't worry if the elbows touch or not. It's not the point. And then inhale, come up. Rest your hands down. We're going to take a twist. I'll try to mirror you. So go ahead and twist off to your right. Let the right hand be set to the floor behind you. And the other hand can cross over to the other knee. Lift the crown of the head up. Your choice to include the neck or not. The twisting is really good for the stomach meridian. So are back bends. The vagus nerve comes down into that area. I wanted to make sure we got it both. All right, unwind from the twist, take pause, palms open. Feel it internally. Now let's balance it up. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, twist to your left. Left hand set to the floor, over to the knee. Your choice whether or not to include your neck. Slow, deep breathing in and out through the nose. Exhale. Okay, we're going to do the tapping before we restore. So you're going to bring your fingers, and it's just like you're sprinkling, like raindrops are just falling over your head. Bring it down to the base of the skull, down into the neck area, to the sides of the neck, behind and over the ears, back to the top of the head, to the hairline, now to the forehead. All across the brow, even to the temples. Use the tip of a finger, the center of the brow, that marma or the spiritual eye, also called mind's eye or a third eye. And then come to that space between the eyes, go across your eyebrows, down to the outer edges of the eyes and underneath the eyes. The bridge of the nose, to the tops of the cheeks, to the outer cheeks, and to the jaw, across the upper lip, down to the chin, throat. Throat kind of feels weird to me, but it can be a little lighter there. And then collarbone region. And then top of the chest, across the chest. If you find that breastbone, tap right at the top in the center. This is a good marma point for the heart center, heart chakra. And then bring it back across the chest, up to the collar, lightly to the throat and the sides of the neck, to the lower jaw, to the chin, to the upper lip, back to the cheeks, to the outer nose, to the outer eyes, to the eyebrows, to the space in between, to the third eye, across to the temples, top of the head, back of the head, the back of the neck. Relax your hands to your lap. So tapping is something that we also include in our trauma-sensitive yoga. You can maybe notice how influential that is and getting you a little bit more grounded into your body, a little bit more present in the moment, a little less attached to your thoughts, as if you could almost drop into a meditation now. But you're going to open your eyes instead. We're going to begin with a gentle back bend. And I would have the towel available. You're welcome to use the blanket for an extra grounding measure. I like to take it over the tops of thighs. Some people like to use it as a pillow under the head. If your body's too cool, you can cover your body, but you probably are warm enough. And then when your head lowers, you can take the towel over the brow and the eyes, the arms, and fan away. Let your heels separate and your toes spin out away from your midline. Acknowledge the weight in your seat, your back, your head. You may even feel a slight tingling of energy pulsing in your hands or the soles of your feet. You may feel some air or space between the fingers or the toes. And if that is a part of your present experience, invite it in through the pores of your skin. Feel the openness of the abdomen, the upliftment of the chest. And you no longer need to be aware of the breath unless you get too busy in your mind. So imagine a pink glow coming out from the pulsation of your heart. Imagine it expanding and radiating upward and outward in every direction. And allow that to represent loving kindness and compassion. And even though we're not going through a full mentive meditation, I want you to consider yourself and bring this home to yourself and to your heart and your soul. May I be happy. May I be healthy. And may I be at peace. May I be happy. May I be healthy. And may I be at peace. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at needs to be, and know that I am. Pulsing light radiating from the heart, upward, outward, every direction, seeping through your mind, your body, calming, loving on your nervous system. As you affirm, may I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. Now I suggest bending the knees. If the blanket's in the way, you can lay it off to the side. Rock the knees gently left and right and back again. And then when you're ready, turn over to one side. I want us to do one more pose. So I think I shared with you on Monday that I had a lot of sleep interruption. I haven't been sleeping soundly since like Friday. So the last 2 evenings, I have put my own words into practice, and I've gone to bed using an eye pillow, a lavender eye pillow, because the lavender is calming. And I've been placing it over the brow that calms me down. And I've been turning on my Reiki hands, giving myself a little Reiki. I've been playing this specific music like all week, because it's just kind of like a drone and it's chakra music. And it's helped me to at least get to sleep, even though I've still been waking up. So I would like you to create a slide in front of you. Because tonight I'm going to put this into practice to see if it'll help me actually get a full night's sleep. Now you could do legs up the wall, which is very similar to creating a slide, but since we have the props, let's just do this. This will bring us into a slight inversion. So the legs being lifted higher than the heart is very aiding for the heart. Your blanket can go under your head or across your belly and waist. We'll turn over the eyes if you don't have an eye pillow. So anytime we're in a gentle inversion like this, it is naturally calming for the nervous system, meaning it is helping us to shift our gears, helping us to move out of that stressed out state or that anxiety state that life tends to unfortunately promote. So be here now. And I'm going to talk you through a little relaxation so you can follow my words. Bring your attention all the way down into your feet. Relaxing all 10 toes, the arches, the ankles, soften your calves. Feel the support beneath them. And let that aid you in softening, releasing any action, needs. It's possible you may feel a little sensation in the knees since we did a lot of the lunges with the warrior poses. But just let that sensation dissolve, the energy absorb. Bring some body awareness into your thighs. And specifically soften the front, the back, the inner, and the outer. Feel the weight in the seat and let it spread out. You may even feel a couple of bones. Feel the support of the earth beneath your back so that you can relax the back. Soften your belly and your chest. And without necessarily controlling the breath, allow it to be a little bit more organic, but notice the natural rise and fall. Tend to hold the weight of the shoulders. So just let the shoulders go. Let your arms go. Bring some relaxation into your hands and fingers. Relax your neck, your throat, your jaw, your mouth, nose, your eyes, your ears, top of the head. If you found any hidden pockets of tension, return to that area and ensure it didn't come back. If it did, release, let go. This moment, just be and just breathe.
Place your right hand now on your belly and place your left hand lightly over your heart. Now begin to bring the control of the breath back. Inhale into the belly and chest, and exhale and feel that slightly descend away from the feet. Perhaps now with your left hand over your heart, and as you re-enliven the breath, you'll be able to notice a slight increase on the inhalation and a slight decrease of the heart rate on the exhalation. If you can't sense it with your hands, it's okay. So remember some of the things we talked about today. If or when you need it after you depart, to shift back to the parasympathetic nervous system, this calm, peaceful, relaxed state of mind and body. This is something that's always medicinal, especially during these challenging times. You're ready. Go ahead and take the blanket away from your abdomen if it's there. That way you can hug the knees in. Once you embrace yourself lovingly and warmly, rock gently side to side. Turning over to one. No rush to arrive. And you're ready, coming up for formal seat. Arms down to the lap. Closing the lids of the eyes. Placing your hands together in prayer. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We all walk away feeling more peace in our bodies, our minds, and in our hearts. And we all strive to develop the peace that passeth all understanding. You're welcome.